And I want to see how well those of you who were last year, because you know how I run this, it's not me speaking, you're involved in this process, because you can't have cooperative economics unless we're all involved. So I'm going to see how much you remember from last year. We're also going to watch a video, short video, about 18 minutes, Maggie Anderson. Anybody know that name? Okay, well you will by the end of the night. And in 2014, she did something spectacular. It was her Black year. She fought Black the whole year. So I want us to watch that. I also want us to be able to get some feedback and also really have some solutions, because we keep talking about solutions, we keep talking about solutions, we keep talking about solutions, and we keep talking about solutions. Last year we had some great viable solutions. Those of you you'll need a pen or a pencil. We had some great viable solutions last year. Let's just pass that around. But not everyone followed through. But I've got to give kudos, like, to the Education Committee. Give them a round of applause, because they came through, right? The Political Committee, they came through as well. Give them a round of applause. They took the time to use this facility to break down each week from what a school board member does, city council representative, a supervisor, voter registration, all of that information that we need to know to be able to go to the next level. But somehow that didn't quite bring our folks out. That wasn't something that we were that interested in. It's great when we all come together, Kwanzaa, we analyze our first fruits, and we look at our harvest to see, okay, what did I do this year? And then we get upset and we bash ourselves, right? We spend a lot of time, when Black folks just don't, we don't, and then we don't, and then I'm tired of it, I hear the words tired of, and what we don't, and I'm sick of. That's what we hear, right? We start bashing one another, and we're really bashing ourselves. But you got to remember the type of society that you're in before you bash yourselves. Even being able to have kudos to make it through the society, even as a Black business owner, hello, you got to give yourself some kudos for that. Entrepreneur, business owner, any of those things above, or even if it's a side business, it's a challenge. You're up against a lot, from California state taxes, then you got your local taxes, then you've got your business license, and then you got your business license tax every 3 months. Well, now it's every 6 months, I believe it is. Some people don't even know that, so they get hit with the taxes at the end of the year. Kind of happens like that. Then you've got your president, number 45, that has now changed the whole tax, and that's going to be a whole, I'd say, adventure in itself. So that's what I want to make sure everyone has a card or has an index card. You can even take a couple of them. Does everybody have a card on them? Okay, because I'm going to be asking you some questions, and I think we'll watch the video first, and then I'll go into the questions thereafter.
I come from a Cuban family. I grew up in Miami, but I grew up in a predominantly Black, very poor neighborhood in Miami called Liberty City. From there, I went on to Atlanta, studied at Emory University, and had the honor of being a congressional aide to civil rights hero Congressman John Lewis. And after that, I went to Chicago and got my MBA and my law degree at the University of Chicago, where I also got to learn from another hero of mine, taught constitutional law by then Professor Barack Obama, and now the President of the United States. We fell in love while we were in graduate school. Now that's John and I, not the President and I. We found great success in corporate America, got married, bought our pretty house in our pretty suburb, had our 2 pretty little girls, and we're living out our picture-perfect, comfortable Cosby life. But when we analyzed the rest of the Black community, we saw that things were getting worse and worse for most Black people. We felt guilty about that. We felt bad about that. So we gave more to our Black church. We gave more to the NAACP and the UNCF. Wasn't that enough? Philanthropy is commendable, but it must not cause the philanthropist to overlook the circumstances of economic injustice which make philanthropy necessary. Dr. Martin Luther King said that. Now, what is this economic injustice he was talking about? What are these circumstances he was talking about? In America, in the Asian community, the dollar circulates among the community's banks and retailers and professionals for about 28 days before it leaves the community. In Jewish communities, that circulation period is about 19 days. In WASP communities, predominantly white areas, if you will, the dollar stays 17 days. My Hispanic brothers and sisters keep their dollar for about a week. And in the black community, the community Dr. King was slain fighting for, we keep our dollar for 6 hours. Let me tell you what that means in real life terms. That means in Asian communities, Asian kids get to see business owners who look like them every day, all the time. There are Asian banks and insurance companies and grocery stores all over the community, and those businesses employ from the community, and the families take care of those businesses and vice versa. Asian unemployment in America is at a low 4 to 5%. Most Asian Americans, over 50%, are self-employed or employed by Asian firms. Those circumstances, that economic and business growth, lead to high educational attainment. There's business and political power, low poverty, strong businesses, low crime in Asian neighborhoods. 6 hours in the black community. Let me tell you what that means. That means that black kids can't see business owners who look like them every day. There are no black-owned grocery stores and dry cleaners and pharmacies and clothing stores locally owned in the black community. So the people there cannot get jobs, much less create jobs in the community. So black unemployment in places like Detroit and Gary and Oakland, sometimes 40%. And those circumstances lead to social problems like recidivism, high crime, high gang and drug activity, poverty. That's what's going on with those 6 hours. And those disparities cause the same kind of problems in the corporate space. 60% of the money that is spent with Asian suppliers in corporate America, so your Asian professional firms, Asian products you see on the shelves, used to be spent with black-owned businesses. And the same kind of shift has happened between Hispanic businesses and black-owned businesses. That's why when you go into a grocery store, you'll see whole aisles full of products coming from Asian companies, from Hispanic companies. So let's go to the grocery store or the drugstore and see where the black-oriented products are. You go there, you'll see products like these. You'll see Spotin' Wave and Less Jam and Smooth and Shine and Dark and Lovely and Strength of Nature and Dark and Natural and Stay Soft Fro. All those products that only black people buy every day. 100% black market. All those products are owned by L'Oreal, a company out of France. All those billions of dollars leave the black community. Some of that money could come back if L'Oreal had supplier diversity, if L'Oreal was doing any business with black-owned firms. L'Oreal only has black buyers, no black suppliers. Same deal with Hennessy. Hennessy, Wall Street Journal estimates between 60 to 80% of Hennessy's US market comes from the black community. That means that Hennessy closes down tomorrow without black consumers. Billions and billions of dollars going outside of the community. Hennessy has no black distributors, no black suppliers, does not advertise in black-owned media, or use black-owned advertising agencies. So, bottom line, most of the businesses in black areas are not black-owned. Most of the products catering to black culture don't come from black companies. Black unemployment is highest among any group in America. Black firms are the highest employer of black people. So I can give you more. Chicago, 60 KFC franchises, most of them full of black people and black money every day. None of them owned by black franchisees. I'm just trying to give you this picture of the circumstances of economic injustice Dr. King referred to. And what I hope we can do is I can get you to understand that if this is the picture of economic injustice he was thinking about, can we look at the opportunity, or maybe the duty, or at least the right to do something about that economic injustice? All kind of folks rally if a white racist shoots an unarmed black teen. And then we protest a legal system that would let that killer go free. Now, will we rally? Will we come together if that unarmed black boy gets shot by a black gangbanger? And that happens because that black boy lives in a place that is so economically depleted, so poor, and the people there are so angry and so frustrated that that place has become a war zone overrun by drug activity? Will you protest for that economic injustice? Well, I conceived of and conducted the empowerment experiment, hoping that if we shared this story with you, you would do just that. And it was tough living like that. It was tough and fearful, being called a racist, a Nazi, or the other N-word, dealing with death threats and hate mail, just because I decided for 1 year to do this experiment to explore the possibility of using my buying power to help my economically deprived community. It was humiliating taking CBS News and PBS NewsHour through the black areas of Chicago, trudging through all of that economic deprivation and all that social decay. Every face we see black, watching the correspondents and camera crews shake their heads as we go store to store, door to door. Hi, we're doing a story on black businesses. May we meet your owner? Blocks and blocks, sometimes miles, dozens of businesses without engaging a black proprietor. It hurt as a black woman to see that. And I know I hurt some feelings to show that. But I really hoped that that year would bring you in and take you there and show you things that you may not want to see, but you needed to see and hopefully really wanted to understand. I wanted you to see Jordan. I met this pretty little girl during that year. I would not have met Jordan or gone anywhere near where Jordan lives, Bronzeville on the south side of Chicago, had it not been for that year. Bronzeville is a dilapidated area, lots of crime, drugs, depression. Still, our young Jordan wanted to build a children's clothing store in Bronzeville. And she did, with her mom and her grandmom and her grandfather's life savings. They called it Jordan's Closets, and it was the most beautiful children's store I've ever seen. They had, on Saturdays, they would invite little girls from the community for tea parties and book clubs. And on Sundays, her mom would host, for teenagers in the community, modeling classes and a charm school. What a gem for Bronzeville. What a great place for me to spend my money. What a wonderful role model for the kids there. Jordan's Closets is closed. Another abandoned dream. Another destroyed dream in an abandoned space. And so it is in Bronzeville. Destroyed dream after destroyed dream. Abandoned space after abandoned space. These are the businesses that I supported during the empowerment experiment. All of them are gone. I took on this year. I did this year because the lack of economic and business power in the black community is the single most salient, destructive, and self-perpetuated problem the black community faces, and still the most ignored. Our buying power, our businesses have always empowered and improved our community. But now, in an integrated society, somehow we're supposed to live without all of that. Somehow we're supposed to survive without the businesses and the buying power. In the early 1900s, shortly after emancipation, believe it or not, black businesses, the black community had amassed great business power. We had black Wall Streets, we had hospital systems, transportation systems, hotel chains, grocery stores, all kinds of businesses and professionals thrived. Hundreds of millions of dollars were created and circulated in the black community. Unemployment was statistically insignificant. The unemployment gap between whites and blacks in this country only widened in 1960 at integration. After slavery, more and more black towns became self-sustaining until integration or until they were burned down by racists. Vibrant neighborhoods were bombed, set on fire, then looted. These people had their homes and thriving economic thoroughfares burned to the ground because they endeavored to be self-sustaining. Over 90% of the lynchings of black men that happened during Jim Crow and Reconstruction were of business owners. What an awful paradox. We had, when we were politically disenfranchised, we had economic power. We took that economic power for granted because we needed to fight for our civil rights. Now we're politically free, but economically insignificant. That's a tough trade-off to make. Martin Luther King thought about that trade-off. Martin Luther King wasn't just fighting for basic human rights. He fought for black businesses too. In a public address that he gave the day before he died, he said this: "We got to strengthen black institutions. I want you to take your money out of the banks downtown and put your money into Tri-State Bank. We need to have a bank in. You have 6 or 7 insurance companies in Memphis. Put your insurance there. We need to have an insurance in. Dr. King died asking us to support these businesses, and we didn't, and they're gone. Those banks and insurance companies were the backbone of the Black community, and they're gone now. Now I'm asking you, how does that make you feel? Black or not, as Americans, how does that make you feel? Do you wonder, like I do, what would have happened had those businesses thrived? Do you wonder what Detroit would look like now if we had those banks and insurance companies? So I ask you, what are we going to do about that? Dr. King wondered, what would you do? And he didn't know, just like I don't know. He said this: many white Americans of goodwill have never connected bigotry with economic exploitation. They have deplored prejudice, but tolerated or ignored economic injustice. Dr. King said that. Now, this is what they say about our Black Year. They say that we illuminated the roadblocks faced by Black businesses in this racially divided economy, that this book will appeal to students of economics and sociology and anyone looking for inspiration to affect positive change in their community. How's this for inspiration? I did an hour-long interview on C-SPAN, and I took that time to mention this paper company called South Coast Paper that I support when I go to Office Max. I told everyone about the 60 people that have jobs that would not be there otherwise in Birmingham and South Carolina had it not been for this Black-owned paper company, and had it not been for Office Max taking a chance on this Black-owned paper company. C-SPAN tells me it is one of their most popular segments. They ran it against the Republican National Convention, me against Congressman Ryan, and people watch me. But the good news about that story, well, the better news about that story, is that Office Max and South Coast Paper reported that their 800 number and their website were flooded by consumers looking for that paper. Twice a week, I leave my pristine suburb and I go to the west side of Chicago to go to Forest Cleaners. Forest Cleaners is one of the few Black-owned businesses owned by, one of the few Black-owned businesses in this all-Black part of town. James Forrest is the owner. My kids call him Uncle James. James has been there for about 3 years, and he just made his first hire, an orphaned teenage boy who has spent a lot of time in juvenile detention and foster homes. But this is a great kid, and Uncle James knows that. So he has taken him in, become a father figure to him, and is showing him the business. The west side of Chicago needs that Cleaners. Those boys need Uncle James, and I am helping Uncle James help those boys by supporting him during those 15 minutes a week. I gave a lecture in Boston. A woman named Debbie came, she bought my book, read it, wrote me, we're friends now. Debbie asked for a website designer. I told her about a great business in Philadelphia. This kid is a tech genius, and he's a great role model for the kids in that community. She used his business. She loves her site. She told all of her friends about this great Black-owned business that they need to support. And they did support him. And he got a new corporate client because of Debbie. Did I mention that my friend Debbie is white? You see, you don't have to be an activist to do what I do. You don't have to live in a struggling community to empower it. We're all connected to this economy, so we can all do something about economic injustice. Your dollar can do just as much as mine, as Debbie's, to make our economy more fair and more inclusive. Mima, my mother, was just a Cuban farm girl, never graduated from high school, never learned how to drive, but she was one of the most brilliant and the bravest woman I'll ever know. In 2008, right before we launched the empowerment experiment, my mother was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer and given 3 months to live. I was going to shut this whole thing down to be with Louisa. And Mima said, no, you have to do this. This will be the most important thing that you'll ever do. She is the reason that I'm on this stage today. And I wonder, now that Mima is gone, Mima lived 16 months with pancreatic cancer, one of the worst cancers there is, and she died in my arms, having witnessed her daughter complete the most important thing that she'll ever do. Mima died 1 month after the empowerment experiment. And that's wonderful that she got to see her daughter do that. But I still wonder, 5 years later, did I waste the last year of my mother's life fighting for something that's never going to change, never be penetrated? And not because the right man has his foot on our necks, but because no matter how much media attention we earn, no matter how much studies we generate, my people just won't come together again. And the larger community won't, because it's taboo, unite to create an integrated economy. The larger community won't fight for economic empowerment the way we did for civil and human rights. But then MEMA will send me folks like Debbie, like Jordan, like Uncle James, and all those great people who went out to buy South Coast paper. And she shows me that it was indeed worth it. That it was indeed worth it. That's the point. All of these strangers came together to create an empowered community. Strangers connected by their sense of community. That's my Black year. It's not the story of an extreme thing that I did for 1 year. It's the story of the little things we all can do every day. Thank you. Thank you so much.
How many of you seen that video? 2014, by the way, 3 years ago. By the way, we are airing this on the ONME network. How many of you download the ONME app that we've talked about maybe for the last 5 years? 3.
No, what app? I've never heard of it, so I wouldn't know.
Okay. So the ONME network, which is what myself and my husband and business partner launched, gosh, it's been several years now. And so it's been about 5 years now. And that was the whole idea of that was to be able to combine all of the media sources into one for the Central Valley. So whatever's happening in Modesto, we're able to showcase that particular newspaper, because a lot of people didn't know that there was a Black newspaper in Modesto. Bakersfield, same thing. So there's a Black media outlet in Bakersfield. So we put that on our channel, so people can actually, at the bottom of our screen, go to the stories that we show on the online the free app. It's free. I gotta keep saying it's a free app that you can download to your phone. And also news, video, and daily news that is reflecting what is happening within the African American diaspora here in the Central Valley, statewide, and also nationwide. And so that's what we call ONME Network, which means One New Media Expression. And that experience is supposed to be able to combine us all together in the Central Valley. And so you can download it by going to app.amptv now, whether you have Android or whether you have an iPhone or just a desktop. And you also will see our ONME Shopper. That's where we highlight some of the local vendors. And we usually take our percentage, our 15% commission, but we even showcase vendors on there. So those of you who may not have a website, or you've got a product but you don't have a storefront, well, that's what we're there for. And we market those products throughout our channels. That's some of the things that we do nationwide with a lot of our partners. And so we've been trying to do that locally because we do really well nationwide. You know, we have a lot of supporters nationwide for our AMP TV channel that does the same thing. We curate content. There's 11 channels. When you guys go to that app, we have 11 channels for you to watch. You can watch you can watch a Black business channel all day, or a channel that's on just how to cultivate your business all day on that app. You can watch on health. You can watch the local channel that might have the local Kwanzaa, things that we're doing here. And so we challenge you to go check that out. We have history. We have historical movies that you can watch on that app. We have documentaries that you can watch. I was just talking to somebody about the Deacons of Defense that a lot of people didn't know about. They were before the Black Panthers. And they were raw. They had to take business into their own hands. They had to, for survival. Because they realized yes sir, no sir wasn't working. So they had to change up and say, okay sir, this is the barrel of my gun that I speak to and I call sir. So they had to change up because that was the dynamics of the South and what was going on. But you won't learn that if you don't know that. And so we put those type of items on our ONME network so that you all can have that freely. We curate all this content. We hire young people to do that to help us to curate that, or sometimes I have to do it, just depends. And that's where we have all these different channels. So check it out. ONME Network, you can go to onmenews.com. You'll see the daily news that we put out. But the app gives you everything. You've got the news articles, you've got the channel. We even have an Android device If you want to buy that, because some people say, well, I don't want to do all that, I just want my own. We even have an Android device. $69, where you can also mirrorcast to your TV. Says ONME Network on, you click on it, takes you straight to the network. And so those are I wasn't supposed to give a spew about ONME Network, but in case, I'm glad you asked, because some people may not know. So, my point was, that video was about 3 or 4 years ago. And how many of us knew about Maggie Anderson? By hand raise, how many of you knew? Really? Okay, okay.
Was that the lady that was
Yeah,
speaking?
that's like.
Yes,
Oh, I know about her.
yes, yes. Okay, so 2 out of the how many of us in this room? Okay? And that tells you and explains that we are so spread out that we do need one media conglomerate to be able to have all that information in one place. Because we're here watching ABC, NBC, oh, wait, I've got Netflix, oh, Hulu. So we're so spread out. So it is very important that sometimes you decompress and go to your own channels every now and then so that you can know the information. So with a partner or whoever's next to you, please share with them the 2 bits of information that really stood out to you. And tell them why, as far as the information that stood out to you from that video. What stood out for you? And let me have you back here. Back to the front so that we can share. And I'm only going to call on a few representatives to share. I'm going to start right here in the middle. So they have the floor. Okay, please do share. What were some things that you guys shared, the 2 points that really stood out for you from the video?
It was more than 2, but you can't get them all. But anyway, the fact that she gave to her church and the NAACP to build into the black community that still shut down anyway, that was a sad thing. To know that she was doing what she could to try to help to keep the black businesses going. And when she sacrificed for the 1 year, not only did she sacrifice, but her children, her husband, and where she is in her status, you know, they were used to having the best of everything. So they're not selfish, you know what I mean? So that really stood out. She taught her children, you know.
Good lesson.
Yeah.
Oh, well, L'Oreal is one of the #1 white companies that put all black faces out in the stores. You see it all over. And I used to think it was a black company, but it was a white company.
Yeah.
So that's why we stopped by.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. Very good point. Okay, now I'm going to go coming back here. Oh, perfect. Volunteer.
When she said, well, it was she was very touching, but she said that she doesn't know if her mother dying was worth her, how she said, she phrased it that, what will ever change? She put this experiment before her mom, and she doesn't know if we'll ever change or go back to the Black Wall Street or go back to this where we support each other. It's a doubt. We don't even know the percentage, right?
Wasn't happening at all. Not at all. Thank you for sharing. Now I'm going right here over here.
She had said 60 to 80% of like Hennessy's money is which I mean I kind of I feel like all of us in here kind of need that stat to know that just being in our community, and like it amazed me because it kind of showed us how much damage we could possibly do if we unify and say we're not going to spend our money here, because 60 to 80% is a huge amount of someone's profit, and if we just took that money and spent it on us like that.
And I believe that that company used to invest in slavery.
Yeah. Behind it? I mean, that's something you can help us know that information.
Like 10%.
I mean, did Hennessy, that part I don't know. Did they invest in slavery as far as the company? Sound okay? Well,
but I know a lot of that moved black, they stole the recipe from black people. Black people were behind it. Like Paul Masson and all of those like dark liquors and stuff. Black people were the creators of that recipe. Right. And so they took it and made millions.
And still are making millions today.
Right.
Okay, that's the reality check.
Right.
And here's another reality check. But for those of you who were here last year, I want to know, were there any habits that you changed? over the past year that you learned from last year's Kwanzaa? Anybody want to share that? Anybody download Black Trade Lines in here? The other free app? The one that connects you to like nationwide? Like all the black companies? Remember we talked about that? Okay.
And I don't even think, I think I was downstairs.
I think
when
you were
were
downstairs.
doing it was vending.
Yeah.
But I will say, I have started, which my sister have encouraged, which she did, I'm not gonna lie. I support black businesses every month. I make it, now I still do Walmart, don't get me wrong, I still need Walmart sometimes. But I make it a habit to support black business.
Okay.
Whether it's purchasing shoes, African garments, I support my sis Bianca back there. Like I try to support a black business.
Okay.
Buying food during lunch, something. So that's something
That is great.
people should start doing.
And look how easy that habit
Right.
is. Once a month.
Once a month.
Once
Just
a
say,
month.
okay, I'm gonna support a restaurant or buy a dashiki or an oil or soap or something.
Exactly.
It recycles. Yeah.
Because I want to ask, how many of you go to Starbucks in here or go to the coffee shop?
No.
Okay, good. 'Cause, well, see, it's okay to admit it. I don't want to
Right.
But I mean, some of you might go daily, some of you go weekly. What if that's the one week you don't go to that particular coffee shop, but you go maybe to the black-owned, or you go to any black-owned restaurant that's open, even if you can just make that commitment.
Yeah.
One time,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Once a month. So imagine if there were like thousands of people going once a month to that one location. Once a month to be honest, buy some oils, she's got the shea butter, she's got the black soap, okay? Imagine just once a month how that would help her. But it also helps you.
Right,
It's also
they
about-
recycle.
Exactly.
They
Exactly.
Recycled and make it beautiful because it's pure.
Yes, it is pure. That's what I use.
I think Sister Yvonne, she does hair too, that's another black business right
Oh,
Well-
and Bob.
Sister Bobby.
Sister Bobby.
It's Sister Claudette. It's Sister Claudette.
Yes, sir.
I wasn't here last year for Kwanzaa, but a habit I picked up, and my sister actually encouraged this one too. Something as simple as I like tattoos.
Okay.
And I prefer to find black tattoo artists.
Okay.
And we may not think like that's like something like
No.
that can help, but it's
No.
because like they don't have their own
Business owner.
like they don't have like their own office or anything to go to like that, or a parlor. But that's money that's like untaxed, and like if you helping someone directly in their personal life like that, like my friend who has like a lot of like legal issues, like the money I give to him can help him get through that situation. And it's just like the mentality of helping each other out through like some mess, something as small as that goes a long way. And that's just something I want to put out there, because some people think like some small
No,
stuff.
that's good. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you. We need to know who the people like tattoos. Nothing wrong with that. Yes, ma'am.
Something I try to stop doing is supporting business that invest in prison labor.
Okay, very good. Glad you brought that up.
Don't buy Jordans.
Oh, yeah.
You want to say a couple of the companies that you know offhand?
McDonald's,
Bam.
Victoria's
Yep.
Secret, Honda, Jordan.
Jordan's too, right?
That's the main one.
That's the main one.
That's the main one.
And I know you might be familiar with Michelle Alexander's book, right? As far as the new Jim Crow. If you're not, please check it out.
Good book.
Okay, that's going to help you understand the whole prison complex and how there's one or two corporations making billions of dollars because they run everything throughout the nation in all these prisons. You'd be shocked. You'd be horrified to see where all the dollars are going. Freely.
Michelle Alexander.
Yes.
What's the name
Yes.
of the book?
The new Jim Crow.
Oh, new Jim Crow. Yes. Yes, ma'am.
Taking us back to our principles, umoja, unity. The Black Wall Street, and they talk about how the dollars circled within the Asians and all that. Revlon made a bold statement in the early 70s. He said by 1980, 80 and 90, he said we will control every black-owned hair company. And by 1990, they own practically every black. L'Oreal and Clairol and all of them are just umbrellaed under this is an umbrella company. But Revlon was the instigator of it all. And that's why that when you see Johnson and, you know, the Ebony magazine, that's why we don't have an Ebony now, because Johnson's daughter married one of, he's a Jewish guy, but he was connected to Revlon. And so now you don't see nothing in Ebony. If you look at Ebony magazines in Jet, you will not see a lot of, see no black, you know, practically owned businesses. It's all white.
And thank you for sharing that. And these are the revelations we're either going to grasp, take it in and go to the next level, or we've got to do something. We can keep talking about things all day.
Yeah.
So I just want to recap on some of the things that we talked about last year. If you were a business owner, we talked about Black Trade Lines, which gives you a free web page, getting connected. We talked about how that app, when you're driving along, it's a potential customer for you. They could be coming from the Bay Area, Los Angeles, and it'll beep wherever you are, wherever your location is. So even if you're a brick and mortar or a non-brick and mortar, sign up. It's free. We also talked about making sure you have Square and PayPal, some mechanism of being able to take your payments. It's so easy, they give it you for free. Just tell them you're signing up to Square, and some of you say, well, I don't have a bank account. Well, come and talk to me, I can help you figure that out too. There's workarounds for that. We talked about, well, I don't know if we talked about the Amazon store. I think I asked how many people have an Amazon store, because there are people that don't have the brick and mortar, but they got Amazon stores and they're killing it. And so if you need help on that, those are things that we know about, or that you can ask me about, and we can help you get to that next level. Social media advertising is what I asked the business owner last year. How many of you are using that? Because we have about 85% of us black folks that are on Facebook. By the way, there is a black Facebook, but I don't have that tonight, so I'll have to bring that on tomorrow or Sunday. I'll be able to bring that to you all. And so that's where we're at. That's what we're checking our information. That's what we're checking in and letting people know where we're at and what we ate. Facebook, even over Twitter and YouTube. We also talked about social organization investment. What organization will you decide to be a part of? What organization will you decide to add that membership to, or add your time? What will you pay into? How will you help that organization to come up? Because we can always talk about an organization all day long about what they're not doing. Or we can represent and be a part of that leadership and say, you know what, they need help. Let me do this. I'll give you a perfect example right here at the African American Museum. I always like to call on the Gaines, McCoy, and Smith family because they're about business. They just step in and say, okay, if that's not done, I'm going to tell them it's not done. But guess what? We're also going to help them because we know that they need some help. And we've had our challenges with from the toilets to cleaning up to all kinds of things. Okay, so that's how they're helping. What will your contribution be? Because even as a business owner, even though you are wanting business to come to you, you also have to give back.
That's right.
Okay, so how will you be giving back? Maybe it's mentorship. Maybe it's not about an organization, but you want to be a mentor to a young person, to one of our young people. Great, but that's important. That's going to keep you whole. Customer service skills. If you know you're not the best at it, it's time for you to brush up on it. Right. Ask people how you're doing. What can I do differently? When I first started making coffee at the coffee shop, boy. I learned though, I always ask, what can I do to make this latte better? Tell me how your coffee should be. How can I make it taste better? Does it have too much sugar? Is it too sweet? Is it not enough sugar? You've got to ask that. We can't let our ego get hurt and be, well, they don't like my coffee, well, forget it then. They don't have to come back. No.
Yeah.
Drop the ego, put it to the side, because we're only trying to help you get better.
Right.
And so I took that criticism as, okay, I want to get better. I want to do better, so tell me how I can do better. Customer service is a must. We talked about news releases. We don't know where you're at. We're so spread out. We don't know where the black businesses are. So we talked about giving us, ONME Network, your news releases so we can push it out and get it to social media and get it through all of our network and through our 5,000 list that we have on our email list. Okay, so we don't know. You can't expect anybody else to know. Then we talked about the individual. This is all last year. I'm just giving you a recap in case you didn't remember. Individually, do you have life insurance? If you don't have life insurance, do you have some type of savings so you're not at the car wash standing in the corner when your loved one or when you die and we have to go and raise money for you? That's a reality. Because this life right here is permanent, but not the not where we're living at, okay? So we talked about that. These are real things we discussed. And it maybe didn't feel so comfortable because somebody said that last year. It wasn't meant to feel comfortable. I want us to be prepared. Not what we just talked about, being prepared. So all of this is a part of that, being prepared. Mutual funds. If you don't want to have mutual funds, and we said, heck, put some in savings. If people, I don't like banks. Great. Well, then how am I, you can get a, it's called American Express card, but it's not the actual bank. But you can actually create a savings on that card if you don't have a bank account. Those are ways that you can still save so that you have money for a rainy day. Local investments. We talked about what local business can you invest in to help them. And we're going to talk about that. That'll be the last thing I end on tonight because I got something for you on that. So in case you didn't find a local investment, we have an idea. And we're going to bring it to you as a community to see how you feel about that. You, the individual, are you a part of the social organization? What movement are you a part of? Who is it NAACP? Is it the African American Museum? I can go down the list. There's so many organizations out there that would love your help, that would love your support. Who can you help? Who can you donate your time once a week to? And so those are things that some people did do and some things to reflect on. Patronizing black businesses. Perfect example. The once a month. How hard is once a month? Can we all make that commitment today? I can. Can you share it on Facebook? Can you tell people, hey, I went here today, they have the slamming food, or I went here today, I got
with the sign so they can see it.
Yeah.
I can't spell it, but at least I can take a picture with it.
Okay? But we share everything else on Facebook. Why not that? I'm just saying, right? Why not where we're at if we're supporting a black business or a black entrepreneur? I won't even say business brick and mortar. I'm saying an entrepreneur. Okay? Put it on Facebook. Share it. And finally, side entrepreneurship. Those of you say, oh, yeah, you know, I'm afraid to get into business. I might do this on the side. Just do it. Stop talking about it and just do it, okay? Because we talk all day long. Before you know it, you're 20 years old, 30 years old, 40 years old, 50 years old. Oh, man, where did all the years go? Because that's exactly how it happens. Okay, it just goes right on by. Time just keep passing you by, and you'll be right here, and time goes this way. So you've got to be a part of the movement, y'all. You've got to be in it to win it. If we really going to be in it to win it, we got to be for ourselves. So, you know, I was talking around with my business partner here and my husband because I was frustrated. My gosh, people last year didn't come to all of those Kwanzaa meetings we had throughout the whole year because we said, as the folks, we wanted to have Kwanzaa every month. That's what we said. Some people showed up. Some people probably said it's too hot. Fresno's too hot. Oh, I got this to do. I got that to do, and you didn't show up. Some of you did show up. Education group, they showed up. They created something. It's happening. It is in existence. That's what we talk about dedication. The political group that I was a part of, you were a part of, and some other folks, we showed up. Whoever was here in this room got the information. We spent 6 weeks just on breaking down the city government, how it works, Fresno County Supervisor, the boards that we all need to be a part of and sign up so we can change the whole situation. We went through all that, okay, whether you were here or not. And so I said, but I was frustrated because I'm looking at the audience here now. There wasn't this many people that were at the different Kwanzaa days that we had during the year. So I said, okay, what if we brought the investment to you? What if we said, hey, you know what? Team, community team, because it's an effort, everybody. What if we said, all right, we already have the business plan for a local delivery service where we can hire young people, a local online political academy, because that was what was talked about yesterday as far as the needs, and a local basic necessity shop where you can drop ship from corn, flour, some of the basic necessities that we use, toilet paper, paper towels. And we said, what if we brought this as our community investment, where the community will get to own 30% of that, and the person that is behind doing the local delivery service, maybe they'll own 40, 45% of that, but we're helping them. We're showing them how to do it. The business plan's already created, but we, the community, get to invest. And so this was brought to us during a presentation, crowdfunding for investors. And this was brought to us, was it last year? No, this year.
This year.
This year. And, should I share this part? Yes, I'm going to share. Because that's what Kwanzaa right. We've got to call people out. What upset me the most is that there were 3 other individuals in that room besides myself that were African American, looked like me, but did not share this information of this breakaway funding or crowdfunding investor. In fact, a comment was said to us, well, oh, I was shocked that you all were here because I was going to present to you guys and charge you guys because I know you guys will do stuff like that. So they're ready to charge me. I'm the other black business owner like that individual. And she's saying, well, I was going to charge you all kind of dollars to get this funding and stuff. And I'm thinking, no. We need to share this information freely so people understand that there's another way that we can invest in our own as a community. So crowdfunding, everyone knows what that is. You've seen GoFundMe, you've seen Kickstarter, all of those. Those are just, hey, I'm donating a few dollars, here you go. This is an actual investment. You're talking about a way that you're dealing with security. So you put in your $200, there's a tracking, there's a record of that. And you are an actual investor. That's what was presented to us. And I'm very disgusted with the individuals that were there besides us, because one is actually running for office right now, District 3. He was there. Haven't seen him share anything, but he wants to help the community, I'm just saying. Another person was a previous officer, you know, and I haven't seen this person share anything, and she was a previous officer, actually held that seat, this person. Another individual is a business owner that just recently came out and still hasn't shared. I haven't seen not one of these individuals share the information. So it bothered me because I've seen the walk. No, excuse me, I've seen the talk, but I haven't seen the walk. So I said, okay, and did I not say that? I said, let's do the walk, Linus. Ooh, it's a heck of a challenge. I said, but what if, just what if you could be a business owner, investor, you're investing, it only took you a couple $100s to do that, but yet eternally, perpetually, you are an investor into your own community and into those businesses that exist. And every year, we have 3 new businesses that we support. These 3 businesses that come out that we have invested in our community, and yet they're giving back to the community because it's a delivery service, meaning it's like an Uber delivery service. Okay, so you know how many young people could have some jobs off of an Uber delivery service? And so we even have the platform for that. I'm like, okay, well that's just going to take a little bit of investment from the person that wants to take that on, because we're not going to head all those companies. We want the young people from this community, okay, to do that. We'll train them, but then we invest. Does that sound like something? Does everyone's looking at me with blank faces like, what is she talking about? All right. Investment in our community, that's what I'm talking about. It sounds strange, but it's doable. So with this the person that presented to us, there are no fees for you, the investor. It's just the one-time investment. There's transparency. The investment, there's an actual portal, so you can see where your money is and the business plan and all those things. Due diligence on documents, and also private placement memorandum, business plan, view capital raise, and you can look at the business modeling. Well, we know that in our black community, we've got an issue when it comes to business plans and things like that. Okay, I know that. So that's why did I not say this? I'm like, okay, I already have majority of those business plans anyway, where I can just tweak those to where it's relative to those 3 key businesses. And then we get our young people to run it. We train them, get them qualified, and they become the owners. We become the perpetual investors. And so we still own those 3 businesses. And then the following year, we have 3 more. And now you own 6. And then the following year, we have 3 more. And now we, the community, own 9. That's what this new crowdfunding investment strategy will allow us to do. Now, why did we pick those 3? What was the one we picked? Where is it at? We picked the local delivery service because I see that it's very successful in the Bay Area. It's extremely successful. And they're doing it, and they're trying to move out here. I'm like, well, what if we could just have our own Central Valley? You know, because they ain't here yet, so what if we did that for our young folks? And so the 19-year-old that we had talked to on Christmas Day said, oh yeah, I do this one and the second one, and I love it because I can't work for Uber because I'm underage. I got to be 21. And he was so excited. He does all kinds of deliveries. Groceries, clothes, you name it. If there's something from the museum that he'd have to pick up, he'll come and pick that up and deliver it. Delivery service, literally a delivery service. He even goes shopping. He has a list. He has a prepaid card. Goes shopping for them. Here you go, and brings that back to the person. So that's why we said, okay, this is easy. We already have the business plan. ONME TV already has the business plan for that. We talked about the local online political academy because we had the complaint last year that it seems like our political leaders that get into office aren't quite prepared. Okay? So if we as a community can really invest in that political academy and what they are, online videos, and also being able to hone in on their skills, being able to help them with their speaking skills, and different professors or teachers that are in that field to actually help them, that would be a dime. You know, we would really need that. That's a powerful tool to have. Okay, so that's easy for us to do. Local business necessities, I came up with that because our company does a lot of drop shipping with stuff, and drop shipping just means we're able to get different products from other countries, or where it's cheaper, and then we're able to provide it without having to pay for the cost. So if somebody had a brick and mortar, or they want to handle that, that could be the place where we get all of our toilet paper and our paper towels from that particular individual. That could be the place where you get your syrup, the things that that we use often. That can be the place also where we get our black hair products, and we're able to get those things and then either give them out, divvy them out to the local African American businesses that are here, or again, this ties into that, delivery service. So those are the things that we came up with, but we definitely wanted the community buy-in and to see how you all felt about that. And can we get some young people to step in these shoes? Because we got our own company to run. We can't run, we can show you all how to do it, get the investment from the community, and get them started so that, it'll probably be a 6-month process for them to get started. We walk them through it. We pay the fees for the attorney and also for the breakaway lady, whatever, I can't remember, Kim.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's it. We can start investing as a community. It's that simple. And then they do a background check to make sure you're able to afford that amount, to make sure you're able to afford $200 a year. And that's all done by the securities. That's not done by myself or the business owner. So now we have accountability, because that's usually also our fear. Oh, what about accountability? I put my $200 there. How am I going to get my money back? How am I going to see where my money's going? Because we get a little like that. We do. Okay? I gave them $20. What did my $20 do? Why not order?
That's why you got attorneys and securities that's included in that.
So this method solves that. You don't have to do the GoFundMe to figure out where your $20 is going to go. You have an actual securities. And so you get your dividends, what have you, each year, or annual, or however you set it up. However it's set up. Is it every 90 days?
Oh, you can have it depending on that. Let's say
Dividends, meaning whatever you get back from your investment.
Mm-hmm.
So that's our plan, y'all. We said we got to come up with a plan, because I'm just tired of coming on Kwanzaa and economic nights. Oh yeah, we're going to, kumbaya, we all get together. We're going to go to this meeting. Oh yeah, I'm going to be there. Oh yeah, I'm going to be there. And you're not there. So this forces you to show up. This forces you all to think of someone that you know can run this, to say, hey, let me call up Julia. I got somebody that's willing to commit and also help raise the money for that. They're not going to just be sitting back, oh yeah, community about give me money. Oh yeah, let me get my pockets ready. No, you've got to be ready to get on the gusto. Okay, you're a business owner, and you are really going to have to be dedicated. We're going to make sure that. So you're going to have to help raise the money, not sit back. We're just giving you the vehicle to do it, the platform and the blueprint to do it, because we know how it's done. Now we just need the young folks to put them in that place so they can say, hey, yeah, I'm 49% ownership of my company. Yeah, the community invested in me, and I'm doing well. And what our whole idea is to be able to give each company at least $10,000 startup, $10,000, which you can do. This really only going to take about $5,000. This is about $5,000. This one will probably be about 10, because you're talking about supplies and all of those things. So we just saw that we can get the community to invest $20,000 in the 3 or 4 or 6 individuals that are going to be in charge of this, who are then going to hire all of these young people to do this, young people to do that, and the young people to do all that. So everybody has a job. Just saying.
Black owned.
Black owned,
Just
y'all.
saying.
Okay.
Just saying.
Just saying.
Look around. We got a lot of black people in here right now. That's a lot of money, because y'all know somebody.
That's right.
You don't need a high school diploma for that.
No, you don't. You don't. And so that's what I wanted to say to you all today. Leave that in your mind stewing. But that card you have, I want you to really share that with somebody else, and then give me another card of a person that you think is going to be a viable person for that position. They can be 15 years old. They can be 20 years old. They can be 30 years old, 40 years old. Maybe it's somebody you know that's dedicated. That's his bag, please. Not so bad. Maybe it's someone that you know has the gusto but doesn't really have the business experience but wants to learn and wants to be a part of that and wants to see the movement and wants to see the change. 3 businesses a year, y'all. Can we do that? Can we make that commitment, you think, as a community? We sounded kind of, I'm a little worried. It's like, I'm just going to tell her right now. And I feel like, she's crazy. No, I want to really know, is this a buy-in? Is this something doable? Could you invest $200 to $300 a year? And if it's 3 companies that you own, you as an investor, yes, you get to tout, yeah, I own that local delivery, yeah, I own that. I own that local political academy, yeah. I'm one of the investors for that. Oh yeah, listen, I own that too. And then the other 6 companies that come after that year after year.
Be a real black Wall Street, not a.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, I'm a comic by nature. I'm just saying.
Any other
I'm
comments?
humor in it, which is always a grain of truth. We're upset what we hear on the media. We're upset what we hear from the president. And you see what he's doing, systematically taking everything Barack fought to get in place. Barack wanted everybody to have health care. As soon as he got in office, the first thing he did was sign off on start dismantling it. Because in actuality, Medi-Cal was only for who? White people.
In the beginning it was, yes. Actually,
Because their white people did not want to get up and go get a job. They believed in the slave system. They got us darkies doing it for them. Once they lost that, they go, we got to find another way to get some easy money.
So,
I have a question.
with that being said, did you have a question?
No, I have some comments.
Okay.
What I notice when I go to a lot of the corporate companies, media buyers that I represent with our business, a lot of them don't have to advertise with us. In fact, they don't. I go to, I think pretty much down here in Fresno area, it's about 4 of them. They won't even spend money to advertise to you guys, to us. And what I learned in that period is when you affect their money, then you have their attention. Okay? So each one of you or whoever has like a house, apartment, whatever, you have garbage, you have water, you have air. And each one of them we pay monies to as taxpayers. They have a percentage in that goes to marketing and advertising. Of that, that's rotated within the channel 30, channel 47, channel CBS, NBC, ABC, whatever. We have our own network that we have, that she was mentioning to you guys. So if you spend, to make a long story short, if you're spending millions of dollars, and we have like 60,000 African Americans here just in Fresno, I'm not talking about the surrounding areas, approximately 58,000, millions of dollars is spent every month, and none of that is being rotated or circumvented into our own community. This is an angle, which is Lux, that can happen. For us, the tablet she was just showing you, creating the numbers. Once we create the numbers, that would affect also the politicians. Because you go to any politician and say, well, I got 10,000 of these numbers here. Now you got their attention. Okay? So we have to have the power to present to them, which they will help get the attentions of the media buyers, which helps bring monies rotate back into our community. That's what I want to say.
So 2 ways of doing that. Downloading the free app. Again, you can go to app.amptvnow.com and download that. Or if you're saying, hey, I want to be able to watch it on my Android, you can talk to us afterwards. Brother Kindy, you wanted to say some words.
Yeah, I had a number of things I wanted to say,
Yes,
but I'll be very brief. We have to understand the historical war that was reestablished after Reconstruction. And it was our success that brought us the war on us. we built towns. We developed ourselves. So I don't get impressed when I hear people talking about the Asians and everybody else. They have not been under an open war on their development. In fact, banks just give them money. You can't get a dime if you want to start a business. So when we look at other folks, we have to really understand that they've had a free ride. We've been the one that's been under siege. Now, when we look at what happened after that, the destruction of our towns, we tried to manage all the way up through the 60s. And the U.S. government has been in the center of our war against us, this government, because, you know, it assassinated and killed all of our leadership. King, all of them. The government is involved in all of that.
Yes.
So the number one target they were always against, anytime you start talking about black unity, anytime you start talking about economic empowerment, anytime you start talking about doing for self, the whole structure comes against you. And so now we have a Trump. And we've been led to send our kids to schools that don't teach them anything. We bought the white acceptance idea of being integrated with them when they don't even respect us. They never intended to integrate with us. And so now, our genius now is doing what you're doing. And doing what Avery's doing with Black Wall Street, the other group of young people that's doing some real good work. Now I would hope you all can connect and integrate with that. It would empower our community. But what you're doing is excellent. And I like the idea of you know, a retiree like myself. You talk about maybe $200 or $300 investment. That's doable.
Yes.
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 That's very doable. And how you do that, you find 20 people
Exactly.
that will be able to do that, and you got your stuff running.
Exactly. And then you're the business, you're an investor, you own these businesses.
But I'm an old person. I just want to see how young people get something
Of
done.
course, of course, of course, of course. And so, thank you, Brother Kind. Thank you. And so I just wanted to also end with saying, two of our board members are back here with the African American Museum. And so Charles Francis and Rona Liederman, thank you always for your support. And now I'm handing it over to the star.